You can now get your slice of mac and cheese pizza at a historic spot on the Near East Side. We're taking you to the newly opened Garver Feed Mill straight ahead.
And less traffic on the Beltline. Could it be true? We'll tell you about the DOT's potential plan to do just that ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks. Thanks for waking up with us on this Wednesday, July 24th. You saw Keely Arthur right there needing a little light jacket out there this morning.
A little bit, but it's not bad. It's so comfortable outside, and our stretch of nice weather is going to continue right into the end of the week. So nice weather coming our way. Take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam this morning. There's the sun. A little bit of a haze in the atmosphere this morning, but clear skies here in Madison. There is some fog developing west of town, though, in areas that saw some rain yesterday, especially Lone Rock and Boscobel. Through the Wisconsin River Valley, we're looking at quarter-mile visibility up in Camp Douglas. Also a little bit of fog in Juneau. So be aware of that situation this morning. Sun should take care of that fog pretty quickly. Temperatures are near 60 degrees early today. We're headed to highs in the low 80s. 83 today. For comparison, yesterday's high was 81. Still relatively low humidity and lots of sunshine. Just an isolated threat for a shower this afternoon. We'll take a look at those roads this morning. There are a few brake lights now showing up on the map on Stoughton Road as you approach the Beltline. Otherwise, travel looking pretty good right now. No issues to report in and around Dane County.
A nice start to the morning, both in weather and traffic.
Yeah.
It's true. Quiet is good.
Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
So many drivers can agree the Beltline is in need of an upgrade.
The Department of Transportation is with you on that, and that's why they're asking for drivers' input. Keely Arthur is live along the Beltline this morning with all the details you need to know. Hi, Keely.
Hi, Josh and Leah. Yes, the DOT is holding a public information meeting tonight at 5 o'clock over on Park Street. They want input from drivers, and anyone who's driven on the Beltline knows it's in need of some TLC and can be a really hot spot for traffic during rush hour. The DOT has two options on the table. The first really just deals with infrastructure, making improvements to pavement and resurfacing, and also improving sections of the median that are crumbling. The second option is to do all of that, but also open up the shoulder from Whitney Way to the interstate during peak drive times, essentially adding an extra lane to let traffic move faster, something that 17 other states have already implemented.
What we've heard from those states is generally very positive reviews, that they have seen improvements in, or I guess reductions in travel time, so improving those commute times for people, as well as seeing safety benefits of the congestion-related crashes, the rear-end crashes that you may see during typical recurring congestion. They're seeing some improvement in those, and several of those states have actually looked to move beyond their initial systems to other roadways.
Just to give people a sense of how this would work, there would be an electrical sign above the shoulder. Drivers would see a green arrow if the shoulder was open to drive on, a yellow X if they needed to exit the shoulder, if there was a crash, and a red X if the shoulder is closed. Now, if approved, either option could go into effect as early as 2020. Those infrastructure improvements cost $30 million alone. The shoulder improvements are unknown cost-wise. Again, the DOT wants to hear from drivers. They're holding a public information meeting tonight at 5. We have more details on that meeting up on our website, channel3000.com.
Keely Arthur live along the Beltline in Madison. Keely, thank you.
We have new details into the Channel 3000 Alert Center about an overnight crash. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says one person is in the hospital after that rollover on Highway 14 outside of Oregon. It happened just before 3 a.m. on 14, just north of Hill Road in the town of Rutland. The Sheriff's Department says one person had to be pulled from that car. 14 was closed for about an hour and a half, but just reopened right around 4 this morning.
In more local news now, officials with the American Transmission Company say its transformer failed, leading to the explosion and fire at 2 of its Madison substations last week.
ATC says it inspects substations every month. During the most recent inspection, 4 days before Friday's fire, a component was found that required further review, and they planned on looking into it this week. The transmission company says it's looking for the root cause after that transformer failed. The group Citizens Utility Board is pushing for more details into that investigation.
We just want to find out and make sure that there's a full review of what happened, what what went wrong here and the steps that both American Transmission Company and MG&E may need to take going forward.
Companies like ATC are only required to have maintenance and inspection programs and provide reports to the state's Public Service Commission. But those reports provide very few details about what was actually inspected or when. That investigation at the site is ongoing. The DNR is overseeing the company's cleanup.
6:05 right now. Alliant Energy says thousands of people in Baraboo are still without gas this morning after a leak yesterday. It happened just before 2 in the afternoon at the intersection of Vine and Maple Streets in Baraboo, where workers hit a 2-inch underground high-pressure gas line. Alliant Energy fixed the damage but had to shut down a large portion of the service area on the south and east sides of Baraboo. Alliant says they have to reignite pilot lights individually, so some people may be without gas until this afternoon.
Officers across the Midwest are searching for 2 brothers from northeastern Wisconsin this morning. Nicholas and Justin Diemel were reported missing after traveling to Missouri. Officials say their rental car was found abandoned yesterday. It was found around 3 in the afternoon in a commuter parking lot in the small city of Holt, just a little over 30 miles north of Kansas City. The 2 men had been traveling for business. No other details have been released about their disappearance.
6 minutes past the hour right now, and after nearly 2 decades of neglect and decay, there's evidence of new life at the Garver feed mill.
The newly renovated landmark has been transformed into a hub for nearly a dozen local businesses. Our Christina Laurie is here this morning to talk about the one opening today. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Leah and Josh. It's a cruel joke to talk about Ian's and not have any pizza in studio this morning, but the Madison favorite will be the second of 11 tenants and the first retail business to open at the newly renovated Garver feed mill later today. This is Madison's 3rd Ian's location and its most innovative yet, serving not only pizza by the slice and salads, but ice cream thanks to the area's first Calliope ice cream shop. Longtime Madisonians will remember just how much this area has transformed throughout the past 20 years. Ever since Garver Feed and Supply closed in 1997 after more than 60 years in business, there's been a fire, threats to tear the historic site down, and financial problems. All new businesses at the site will be open by fall, including an event center, coffee roaster, florist, photography studio, spa, yoga studio, vegan cafe, and a distributor of sustainably caught salmon. With an outdoor patio, Garver can accommodate more than 800 guests, and even if you don't head to the mill in person, its opening might still impact you. The new Ian's location means Eastsiders can now get their pizza delivered.
Ooh, boy.
I'm hungry.
Oh, Christina, why didn't we get any Ian's pizza this morning? We need props.
I think we need to talk to Jake and James, our producers, right?
Yes.
File a complaint.
Yes, I agree with that. All right, Christina Laurie making us all a little hungry this morning. Thank you, Christina.
Me too.
In more news now, home sales in Wisconsin are continuing to fall behind last year's numbers. Home sales decreased sharply in June, which the Wisconsin Realtors Association says is usually the strongest month of the year. June sales dropped nearly 10% compared to the same month last year, and the median price rose 10.3% over that same year, up to an average of $215,000. The WRA president says that even though things are seemingly getting less affordable in our area, Wisconsin's housing affordability is still much more reasonable than most markets in the U.S. and even the Midwest. Right now, residents are continuing to discuss an affordable housing proposal on Madison's north side.
At a meeting last night, neighbors, city officials, and developers met to go over what it all entails. That project calls for a tower for seniors and a separate tower for multifamily units with 85% affordable housing. It would replace the Heritage Credit Union on Huxley Street near the old Oscar Mayer plant. Jenna Schmidt with the Dane County Homeless Services Consortium says it is a badly needed project.
We desperately need affordable housing, and we desperately need income-based housing here. The cost of living is very, very high in Madison, and it's really hard for people to make it. And there's a lot of families out there that are sleeping in vans and have nowhere to go.
Schmidt says oftentimes affordable housing, which bases rent on a percentage of median income, isn't affordable for those who need it most. She'd like to see more income-based options in the area.
A beagle breeding facility is one step closer to becoming a reality in Spring Green this morning. A Sauk County committee unanimously approved the conditional use permit for the facility yesterday. It would breed and sell beagles to be used for medical testing. Community members have voiced concerns about noise and the ethics involved. Another county committee will have to vote tomorrow on a vegetated buffer for that facility. PETA is against the vote. In a statement, they say, quote, a laboratory breeding mill that condemns thousands of dogs to miserable lives and deaths is about as welcome in Spring Green as a case of anthrax. The organization says county officials squandered their chance to take a stand against animal cruelty.
Breaking news out of Puerto Rico this morning. Governor Ricardo Rossello is expected to resign today, and the Secretary of Justice there is expected to take his place. Residents have been protesting the governor for days since offensive group chat messages between him and members of his inner circle were released. Rossello had previously said he would stay in office, but would not seek re-election in 2020.
Robert Mueller will testify publicly on Capitol Hill today, more than 3 months after his report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election was released. The Department of Justice is asking Mueller to stick to the content in his report during the testimony today, but Mueller plans to start with an opening statement that hasn't been reviewed or approved by the DOJ. CBS News is planning live coverage of Mueller's testimony starting just after 7 this morning. Of course, you can watch that right here on News 3 Now and channel3000.com.
6:11 on your Wednesday. There is arguably no better duo than wine and cheese, right? Except maybe wine and Cheez-Its.
What?
I could get behind this. Coming up, we're taking a look at this unique snack pairing that's going to be up for sale soon.
More stuff making me hungry this morning.
Right.
Comfortable is the word when talking about the forecast this week. Look at that shot. Ooh. A beautiful start to this Wednesday, everyone. Hattie's going to let us know just how long this quiet and pleasant weather is going to last. You're watching News 3 Now this morning. We thank you for that, and we'll be right back.
Good morning from the Hattie-O Patio. A beautiful start to this Wednesday morning. We have clear skies outside. Temperatures are right around 60 this morning. We're off to highs in the 80s. Now, there was a little bit of rain as expected yesterday, although it developed west of Madison. It developed in central Wisconsin and tracked due south through the afternoon hours. There were parts of the viewing area where radar is estimating around an inch of rain fell yesterday. You see all that rain stayed west of Dane County. Now, there is an outside chance for a few showers this afternoon, but less of a chance even than yesterday. Should be pretty isolated as we go through the day. Nothing showing up on radar map around the region, so we'll start off with dry conditions this morning. Weather track is satellite and radar combined, and there really is hardly any cloud cover in the area as well. Skies are completely clear here. Expect a lot of sunshine through the day. The Edgewater is showing you a beautiful shot over downtown Madison, the University, and Lake Mendota this morning. The lake will be a pretty busy place later on this afternoon as highs climb into the 80s. Now look at temperatures early today. 59 here in Madison, 57 in Janesville and the Dells, a few more 60s on the map to the west of Dane County. It's 61 in Lone Rock and Mineral Point and 62 this morning in Prairie du Chien. Dew points are in the 60s in southwestern Wisconsin. Still have a 50-degree dew point here in Madison. Dew points will hover right around 60 through the day, so while that is a little bit higher than it was yesterday, still not too bad, especially compared to what we dealt with last week. So you shouldn't notice the humidity too much today. Your future track forecast model has temperatures that will start in the 60s early today, climbing into the upper 70s by lunchtime with sunshine. A few clouds in the area this afternoon as highs reach the low 80s. There's that isolated chance for a shower. Again, pretty isolated, so I wouldn't worry about the threat for rain later today. Temperatures will cool back into the upper 60s by midnight. Your extended forecast has temperatures climbing into the upper 80s by the end of the week. And I think you are going to notice more humidity. Again, starting on Friday, we'll be in the upper 80s Saturday and Sunday. Our next best chance for rain comes late Sunday into Monday. Now let's get a look at your First Alert traffic report this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, it is another quiet start on the Beltline this morning. No delays showing up heading east or westbound yet. Other roads here in Dane County are moving well so far as well. You will be tapping the brakes, though, on Verona Road approaching the Highway PD intersection. Going to add an extra minute or two. No delays showing up downtown around the Capitol and on campus. Look for things to get busier over the next hour or so. And other main routes coming into the city still moving along at the posted speeds. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh and Hattie, thank you. 6:17 this morning. Donut chain Krispy Kreme is launching new menu items that are sure to make your dentist cringe. The restaurant is doubling down on sugar with additionals like donut-infused ice cream, milkshakes, and what Krispy Kreme is calling scoop sandwiches.
Oh boy.
That's a layer of ice cream with donuts in it, served between a sliced donut that can be topped with vanilla or chocolate. Wow. The chain plans to remodel its 350 U.S. stores and open 45 new ones within a year.
Boy, Josh, my poor sweet tooth.
Oh, man.
All right, who doesn't love to unwind with some wine and cheese, or maybe Cheez-Its? Kellogg has seen the tweets praising the apparently magical combination, and they are on top of it. The company is now offering a combo Cheez-It and wine box. They're teaming up with boxed wine company House Wine to make it happen, but only for a limited time. You can find that new product on the House Wine website starting at 6 p.m. this Thursday for $25.
Okay, I kind of like that idea.
I love Cheez-Its, so I could get behind that.
You got to have a nice cheese board with your wine, too, so I feel like this is just the perfect, easy combo.
Some meats and Cheez-Its.
Oh.
A little charcuterie board going on there.
Oh, my gosh. Getting pretty fancy.
Well, picnic. Little News 3 Now this morning. Picnic.
That sounds very good
planned.
right now. We could have it all spread out. 6:18 right now. Well, Wisconsin Airport is keeping very busy this week with AirVenture. Just ahead, we'll see what it takes to get the 50th year of the event airborne and what this means for that community.
From the skies to the streets, it's beautiful out there. Going to be a bit of a interesting commute if you're on the Beltline. Keely Arthur's going to have that story coming up in a bit, and Hattie's going to have your forecast. That's when News 3 Now this morning returns.
Dear Coffee.
Welcome back at 6:22 on a Wednesday morning, and if you haven't taken a peek outside, it is an incredible start to the day outside.
It really is. Beautiful start this morning. We've been really lucking out this
Look at
week.
this.
This is our shot from our camera on the Beltline, I believe, but just a nice pink, orangish sky this morning.
Yeah, photojournalist Mark Schilling really with a good shot this morning.
Yes, kudos to Mark. Almost all the Skycam shots are beautiful early this morning. We have sunshine in our forecast today. Temperatures are starting out near 60. Here's what it looks like from the WISC-TV Skycam. With the sun getting a little higher in the sky, we're going to start to lose some of those pinks and oranges as we head through the next hour. Dew points today, you'll notice they're a little bit higher this morning, but not much. In the upper 50s here in Madison. They'll hover right around 60 through the day, so that's technically a little bit higher than they were yesterday, but still not terrible. I don't think you'll have any issues with the humidity today. Humidity is going to increase later this week. Your future track forecast model starting this morning at 10:30. Temperatures already back into the 70s across our entire area. Watch what happens as we put the map into motion. A quick warm up today. Upper 70s to around 80 by lunchtime today. This afternoon's high will be right around 83 here in Madison. Yesterday we topped at 81, so it'll be a little bit warmer than that. If you are headed downtown to concerts on the square this evening, should be a pretty nice night. Only an isolated risk for a shower. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s by 7 p.m. Clear skies expected, dropping then into the low 70s by 10. Here's a look at that extended forecast. Again, this nice stretch of weather continues through the rest of the week with dry conditions. It is going to heat up, though, into the upper 80s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and as you can imagine, more humidity. It's late Sunday, that's our next best chance for rain across the entire area.
Thank you so much. 6:24 is your time right now, and in more local news, the Chazen will officially be the most open museum in North America when it increases its hours of operation this fall. Starting September 3rd, the Art Museum will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. That's a 36-hour increase from its current schedule. The new hours are part of a Chazen initiative to encourage people of all backgrounds to appreciate the art of the museum. Officials hope students, faculty, and community members will increase their engagement with art.
Scooters are hitting the streets in Milwaukee, this time legally. Earlier this month, Governor Evers signed a bill allowing electric scooters on state roads. But last summer, a scooter company dropped 100 scooters off in Milwaukee without any warning. Now that they're allowed, a fleet of 500 Lime scooters will be rolled out throughout the week as part of a pilot program. That program will run until December 31st of this year. Madison has yet to allow the scooters on its streets, but it says it is currently talking about the issue and will likely not see them until next year. All right, for 1 week of the year, Whitman Regional is the busiest airport in the world thanks to AirVenture.
Now in its 50th year in Oshkosh, volunteers are what give it wings to fly on. The aviation celebration welcomes more than 500,000 people from 80 countries. It's been going strong in Oshkosh since 1970. For an event this size, the 4,500 volunteers keep the event running smoothly, doing everything from carpentry to lawn mowing.
I was never in a position to dedicate and finance a wing to the museum or something. All I had to offer is my time and effort.
Pete Idy says he plans on volunteering for as long as he's on this side of the green grass. If you've got an interest in planes and aviation, EAA AirVenture runs through Sunday.
I have never been there, but I would love to go.
I've heard of a lot of people that have checked it out, so that's definitely on the list.
Very popular, that's for sure.
Still ahead for us this morning, we've got the top 3 things you need to know before you head out the door.
And the Beltline could see some changes that could add traffic to the main thoroughfare. Keely Arthur is live to tell us how we can weigh in on that project. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks. Thanks for waking up with us on this Wednesday, July 24th. You are waking up to a beautiful day out there. Hattie, pretty mild, huh?
Yeah, been an easy street so far this week with the forecast. It is going to get a little more humid, though, by the end of the week, so stay tuned for that.
Still not as bad as last week, though.
That's true. Perspective.
All right, Addie, we'll get to you in just a moment. But first, let's get to the top 3 things that you need to know in the news world this morning. Robert Mueller will answer questions about the Russia investigation for the first time today before 2 House committees. The former special counsel will sit next to his top aide during the hearings, but the committees have decided they do not want the aide to answer any questions. CBS News is planning live coverage of Mueller's testimony starting just after 7 this morning. You can find that right here on News 3 Now and over on Channel3000.com.
The second story we're following this morning, Puerto Rican Governor Ricardo Rosselló is expected to resign today, and the Secretary of Justice is expected to take his place. People there have been protesting the governor for days since offensive group chat messages between him and members of his inner circle were released earlier this month. Rosselló had previously said he would stay in office but would not seek re-election in 2020.
Rounding out the top 3 this morning, gas is still shut off for some Baraboo residents and the surrounding areas because of a gas leak. It happened just before 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon at the intersection of Vine and Maple Streets in Baraboo, where workers hit a 2-inch underground high-pressure gas line. Lion Energy fixed the damage but had to shut down a large portion of the service area on the south and east sides of Baraboo.
All right, those are the top 3 things you need to know on your Wednesday. Hattie's here now with a look at the skies and the streets. Hi, Hads.
Good morning, Leah and Josh. A nice quiet start this morning. Here's the view in Platteville. No issues with fog there, but there are a few spots in our viewing area that are dealing with some fog this morning. It's namely those areas that received some rain yesterday. Visibility is down to 0 in Lone Rock, about 1/4 mile in Boscobel, and there also is some fog developing in Camp Douglas. So be aware of that issue west of Madison this morning. Temperatures are in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees early today, but we'll climb from there. We're looking at just a light northwest wind, if any, this morning. As you head out the door early today, here's what you can expect. Temperatures will warm back into the 70s already by lunchtime. Highs in the low 80s this afternoon. Definitely a day not to forget the sunglasses. Here's a look at your traffic report, and if you are headed east this morning, you want those sunglasses. It is starting to get a little busier on Stoughton Road as you start to see some brake lights north and south of the Beltline this morning. Otherwise, no other major issues to report right now. No delays showing up as you head into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Sticking with traffic now, the Department of Transportation is considering some major changes to the Beltline.
One of the options is an option to open up the additional lane to make traffic move faster. Keely Arthur is live along the Beltline this morning to show us how. Good morning, Keely.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. Every day, more than 120,000 commuters drive on the Beltline. Now, the DOT knows this, and they know that it's added to the wear and tear here and to the traffic congestion, and they want to make some changes. They're looking at 2 options. Now, the first option just deals with infrastructure improvements. That means road resurfacing, drainage improvements, and fixing the median that is crumbling. Now, the second option is to do all that, but also open up the shoulder from Whitney Way to the interstate during peak drive times, essentially adding an extra lane to let traffic move faster. Drivers would be signaled by an electrical sign. Here is a bit more on how that would work.
Most systems where it would just be controlled by a sign that says it's open during a certain period of day. This dynamic system would have, in theory, a green arrow to allow drivers to know that that lane is open, a yellow X to let them know that there's either something ahead, the end of the system, or an incident ahead that they need to get out of that lane, or a red X when that system, when that shoulder should be functioning as a median.
The first option would cost $30 million. It's unclear how much the added shoulder piece would cost. If all goes to plan, this could be implemented as early as 2020. But before that happens, the Department of Transportation wants to hear from you. They're holding a public information meeting tonight at 5 o'clock on South Park Street. That's at the 2300 block. They want to hear from drivers if they're interested in driving on the shoulder, or if that's something that is a little too confusing for people. Now, 17 other states have already implemented something similar, so this could very likely become a reality.
All right, Keely Arthur live for us along the Beltline this morning. Keely, thank you.
6:34 on this Wednesday. It may be summer break, but that doesn't mean college dorms are empty.
Yeah, especially at St. Norbert College, where the dorms are packed full of Packers for the start of training camp. Coming up, we're going to hear from the players handling that dorm life and what they have to say about it. This is News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back at 6:37 and 2 mornings of spectacular starts to the day.
I know, my boyfriend Zach is taking a peek at that, thinking he's going to get the sailboat out.
I mean, that is an incredible shot. Looks pretty calm there on the lake, and it's going to be another beautiful lake day.
Mild day to get out there, folks. Take advantage.
All right, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and we've got a good one this morning.
Take a look at this photo. Mike sent this in of Wisconsin Dells, just outside of Mirror Lake, one of my favorite state parks, by the way, so I'm already partial to this photo. But look how pretty that is.
It's like a fiery sky.
Stunning, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing.
I love the color, Mike. Thank you. If you've got a photo that you'd like to share of your morning, just go to our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, search for Channel 3000, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. All right, so maybe late July, but it's a very big day for Packers fans.
Oh, yeah. Several thousand people will head up to Lambeau for the organization's annual shareholders meeting. Parking lots will open at 8. The meeting starts at 11. That's where organization leaders are going to update shareholders on how things are going. More than 360,000 people have stock in the team, with the most recent sale helping to pay for renovations at Lambeau Field. And while those shareholders are up at Lambeau, all the players are in the dorms at St. Norbert College in De Pere for training camp. They're going to be there for the next couple of weeks. And if you're in the dorms, you have to think, what kind of roommate would you want?
I don't like a dirty roommate. Like, you know, just we had a long day. You know, you come home and then you just toss it everywhere. And I'm walking through, you know, dirty clothes. Just keep your stuff on your side. I keep mine on mine. We both be neat. We get through it together.
What kind of roommate would you be, Leah?
Josh, I'm not that messy. Just with cream puffs.
Okay.
It's not that bad, folks, I swear.
We are like opposite people. That's why we work really well together on the desk.
We do, we do. He cleans up my desk for me on occasion.
I do. Oh, jeez. The Brewers are looking to get at least one win in their series against the Cincinnati Reds when they play again today.
The Brewers never got the lead yesterday. The Reds' Eugenio Suarez hit another home run last night, his 3rd of the series and 27th of the season. Brewers fall 14-6. Ouch. They play again today, just after 1 in Milwaukee.
I promise we're friends, people.
I promise I'm not that messy.
We're going to go to break. 6:40 is your time. We've got some very nice temperatures out there, but there is a chance for maybe shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. And things are going to heat up and get a little bit more humid as we get closer to the weekend. So Hattie will have a closer look at that in her extended forecast coming up.
But first, it's July 24th. We want to say happy birthday to Hudson and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks so much for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning. Boy, just a beautiful start to your Wednesday out there. A little hazy, I would say.
Love to see that sunshine, though. Any day we can start with a nice sunrise is going to be a good day.
I do agree. Hattie's got it sticking around for quite a while, don't you, Hads?
Yeah, that's the best part of the The shift is being able to see the sunrise in the morning. We'll keep the sun all day today. If you are headed to concerts on the square this evening, second to last concert, temperatures will be very comfortable tonight at 80 when the concert starts, but then dropping into the mid 70s by 8 p.m. Mostly sunny skies and very pleasant conditions, just light winds. Now there is an isolated threat for a shower later on today, but most areas will stay dry, so I wouldn't worry about that chance for rain. Yesterday we did have a couple of showers track from north to south across parts of southern Wisconsin. Doppler indicating that some areas did receive around an inch of rain, but you can see just how isolated those showers were from Dane County and points to the east. Hardly any rain yesterday. Now there isn't any rain on the map this morning. I'll zoom the radar map out to a look at the entire country, and what you'll see is actually things are pretty quiet for most of the lower 48. Now there is a cold front that is bringing some scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. Most of that activity though actually out over the water, so not impacting many states today. Here's a look at your airport delays. If today's a travel day, looking good for you. No delays right now. The weather should stay pretty quiet across the country. In fact, take a look at the amount of sunshine from coast to coast across the country today. Most spots will stay dry. Now, there will be some shower and thunderstorm chances in Florida, but otherwise, things looking pretty quiet. Temperatures will be very comfortable here while they are starting to warm through the northern plains. Check out Bismarck, topping close to 90 today. We're not going to be quite that hot though. High pressure in control is really going to steer all of the rain chances around us. So we'll stay dry and very sunny for the next couple of days. Our dew points across the region are pretty comfortable. As you look from north to south, west to east across the map, you're seeing a lot of 50s this morning. So that's actually a pretty comfortable range for those dew points. It means you'll notice the humidity, but it won't be terrible today. We're not expecting those dew points to climb much above 60 today. Your forecast starts with temperatures in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, 58 in the Dells, 57 here in Madison, 61 in Platteville, and 63 in Boscobel. Winds are light this morning. They'll stay from the northwest through the day. Take a look at this warm up though. Pretty quickly this morning, we're warming to the upper 70s by lunchtime today, topping in the low 80s. Yesterday's high was 81, today in Madison 83, so just a little bit warmer than that. There is that isolated chance for a shower or two, and you can see really how small that chance is on the future track forecast map. Just a few showers popping up later this afternoon, but then falling apart as the sun sets. Temperatures will drop back into the 60s overnight. We'll bottom out around 62 degrees. Quiet weather through the rest of this week, right into the start of the weekend. You are going to notice the temps increase and the dew points, though, by the time we get to Friday. Our next best chance for rain later on Sunday. Here's Boone and Luna taking a break in Madison. They look like they're good buds, which is good news because there's a little size difference between those two.
Just a little bit.
See, difference is good. Josh is really clean. I'm really messy. And we're friends.
Very true.
Can't let that go.
She's not going to give.
All right. Thank you very much, Addie.
You're welcome.
The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning. But first, let's say hello to our gal pal, Gail King, with a look at what's ahead at the top of the hour. Hi, Gail.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS this morning, it's Robert Mueller's day to testify. We're inside the hearing room before the former special counsel's appearance. The key questions you should be listening for and how the White House is preparing. Plus, only on CTM, rapper Meek Mill, there he is, shares his new venture to help future generations of musicians. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.
6:51, time for the morning sprint as we give you the most local news to get your Wednesday started.
We begin with Keely Arthur live on the Beltline to talk about some upgrades you have the chance to weigh in on. Keely?
Well, less traffic on the Beltline. Could it be a possibility? The Department of Transportation seems to think so. They're looking at a number of different options, and they're asking for drivers to give their input at a public info meeting tonight on Park Street. Now, there are two options. The first just deals with infrastructure improvements. That means improving pavement and replacing crumbling medians. The other option is to do all that, but also open up the shoulder from Whitney Way to the interstate during peak drive times, essentially adding an extra lane to let traffic move through faster. We have more details on the plan and the meeting info up on our website, channel3000.com.
Keely, thank you. Thousands of people in Baraboo are still without gas this morning after a leak there yesterday. It happened just before 2 in the afternoon at the intersection of Vine and Maple Streets in Baraboo. Workers hit a 2-inch underground high-pressure gas line. Alliant Energy fixed the damage but had to shut down a large portion of the service area on the south and east sides of Baraboo. Alliant says they have to reignite pilot lights individually, so some people may be without gas until sometime this afternoon.
Officials with the American Transmission Company say their transformer failed, leading to the explosion and fire at 2 of its Madison substations last week. ATC officials say they inspect substations every month, the most recent at the Blount Street substation just 4 days before Friday's fire. During that inspection, the company found a component they say required further review and planned on looking into it this week.
As you head out the door this morning, be aware that there's a little bit of fog developing west of Dane County, especially through the Wisconsin River Valley and in areas that saw a little bit of rain yesterday. Sunshine should take care of that fog pretty quickly this morning. We're headed to highs in the low 80s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies and a light northwest wind.
Thank you, Hattie. Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello is expected to resign today. Puerto Rico Secretary of Justice is then expected to take Rossello's place. Word of his resignation comes after the publication of offensive group chat messages between the governor and members of his inner circle led to protests.
Robert Mueller will answer questions about the Russia investigation for the first time today before 2 House committees. The former special counsel will sit next to his top aide during those hearings, but the committees have decided they do not want the aide to answer any questions. CBS News is planning live coverage of Mueller's testimony. That is starting just after 7 this morning.
The 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund now has legislative approval after the U.S. Senate voted 92-7 to send the bill to President Trump. The bill would extend the fund through 2092, essentially making it permanent. President Trump is expected to sign it.
Officers are searching for 2 brothers from northeastern Wisconsin this morning. Nicholas and Justin Demel were reported missing after traveling to Missouri. Officials say their rental car was found abandoned in a commuter parking lot just outside of Kansas City. No other details have been released about their disappearance.
The UW system is paying more than $300,000 to a former student who says she was sexually harassed by a former professor. The female undergrad studied at UW Oshkosh from 2011 to 2014, but withdrew early because of severe depression stemming from the coerced and emotionally abusive sexual relationship with her former professor, Michael Bietz.
A beagle breeding facility is a step closer to becoming a reality in Spring Green after a committee unanimously approved the conditional use permit for that facility yesterday. It would breed and sell beagles to be used for medical testing. Community members have voiced their concerns about noise and the ethics involved. Another county committee still has to take a vote on that facility tomorrow.
Home sales in Wisconsin are continuing to fall behind last year's numbers. June sales dropped nearly 10% compared to the same month last year. WRA president says that even though things are seemingly getting less affordable in our area, Wisconsin's housing affordability is still much more reasonable than most markets in the U.S. and even the Midwest.
Neighbors, city officials, and developers are sounding off on an affordable housing proposal on the city's north side. The project calls for a tower for seniors and a tower for multifamily units with 85% affordable housing. It would replace the Heritage Credit Union on Huxley Street. That's near the old Oscar Mayer plant.
Nearly 2 decades of neglect and decay, the Garver feed mill is getting ready to reopen. Ian's Pizza opens its newest location inside the historic building later today. This is Madison's 3rd Ian's location, which will now expand delivery to East Siders. Longtime Madisonians will remember just how much this area has transformed throughout the past 20 years. Ever since Garver Feed and Supply closed in 1997, there's been a fire, threats to tear the historic site down, and financial problems. All new businesses at the site will be open by fall, including an event center, coffee roaster, and yoga studio.
Christina, thank you. The Brewers are looking to get at least one win in their series against the Cincinnati Reds when they play again today. The Brewers never got the lead yesterday. The Reds' Eugenio Suarez hit another home run last night, his 3rd of the series and 27th of the season. Brewers fell 14-6 and play again today at 1:10 in Milwaukee.
And we continue to follow breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says one person is in the hospital after a rollover crash on Highway 14 outside of Oregon. It happened around 3 a.m. on 14, just north of Hill Road in the town of Rutland. The Sheriff's Department says one person had to be pulled from that vehicle. 14 was closed for about an hour and a half for the crash, but reopened just after 4 this morning.
6:56, let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a final look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Josh.
Good morning, guys. Starting to pick up on the westbound Beltline this morning. Between Stoughton Road and West Broadway, it's going to add a few minutes to your drive time. There are some brake lights on inbound John Nolan near Rimrock, Olin Avenue as you head your way into downtown. Verona Road, you're slowing down approaching the Highway PD intersection as it gets busier, but other main routes coming into the city still moving at the posted speeds. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh, thank you.
And here's a live look from the Edgewater Skycam overlooking Picnic Point this morning. Just a great start to the day today with temperatures right around 60. We'll climb to the low 80s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies. Only an isolated shower possible. That extended forecast is calling for more heat and humidity. Nothing like we saw last week, but heating up around here starting on Friday with highs back in the upper 80s.
What a nice week.
Yeah, we've been so lucky this week.
Thank you, Hattie.
And thank you for joining us this morning, folks. Enjoy the sunshine out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning.